In the quiet town of Ulm, Germany, in 1879, a child was born who would one day unravel the secrets of the universe. Yet, in those early years, there was nothing remarkable to mark him as extraordinary. His teachers called him slow, his speech delayed, his curiosity insatiable but unruly. To many, Albert Einstein was simply a dreamer. From the beginning, Albert's mind worked differently. While others memorized facts, he questioned the nature of reality itself. He asked why the sky is blue and why time passes. His questions, innocent to him, were unsettling to his teachers. In a society that valued conformity over curiosity, Albert was a puzzle no one could solve. The turning point came not in a classroom, but in a small corner of his own world, a compass. The invisible force that guided its needle fascinated him. Albert realized that there were invisible rules beneath the surface of everything, rules waiting to be discovered, understood, and perhaps rewritten. Albert's youth was not easy. His family struggled financially, and his social awkwardness isolated him. But in solitude, he nurtured a mind unlike any other. At 16, he was already questioning Newtonian physics, imagining what others considered impossible, traveling alongside a beam of light. This thought experiment would one day lead him to the theory that would change humanity's understanding of time and space. It was in the Swiss patent office that Einstein's genius quietly flourished. Surrounded by patents for mundane inventions, he pondered the universe's grandest mysteries. While the world slept, he imagined the cosmos in ways no one else dared. In 1905, the Annus Mirabilis, he published 4 groundbreaking papers, challenging fundamental ideas of physics. One introduced the special theory of relativity, another explored the photoelectric effect, laying the foundation for quantum theory. Einstein's work was elegant, daring, almost poetic in its logic. Even with undeniable brilliance, Einstein faced ridicule, skepticism, and political turbulence. His ideas threatened the very bedrock of science, yet he persisted. It was not just brilliance, but resilience, the courage to follow truth even when the world doubts. Albert's public image as the wild-haired professor obscured the man behind the fame. Behind the equations and accolades was a deeply human soul, playful, contemplative, often lonely. He loved music, played the violin with profound emotion, and found solace in simplicity. He once warned about the dangers of war, reflecting both intellect and empathy. As Hitler rose in Germany, Einstein's Jewish heritage and pacifist views made him a target. He fled to America, leaving behind the world he once knew. Even in safety, the weight of responsibility haunted him. Could science be used for peace or for destruction? The answer would soon test him morally and emotionally. Though he never worked directly on the atomic bomb, his letter to President Roosevelt urging nuclear research brought complex consequences. A man who had sought truth in the cosmos now faced the consequences of human ambition. Albert Einstein died in 1955, leaving behind a universe forever changed. Yet, his life reminds us that genius is not merely about intellect, but humanity, curiosity intertwined with empathy, brilliance tempered by reflection, a mind that could see the cosmos, yet still ponder the fate of humankind. Perhaps the greatest lesson he left us is that the most profound truths are often discovered not by following the path of others, but by daring to wander and to wonder. In the heart of ancient Egypt, Cleopatra VII was born into royalty, destined to become one of history's most legendary queens. She was not merely beautiful, she was intelligent, ambitious, and skilled in politics and diplomacy. Born in 69 BC, she entered a world of intrigue, betrayal, and power struggles. Her crown would be earned through cunning, strategy, and vision. Cleopatra was fluent in multiple languages and educated in mathematics, philosophy, and astronomy. She understood that knowledge was power, and she wielded it skillfully. Her intellect became her armor in a world ruled by men, and she quickly learned that to survive and rule, she had to negotiate, manipulate, and sometimes deceive. Her early years on the throne were filled with challenges. Internal rivals and Roman influence threatened her rule. Her own brother, Ptolemy XIII, plotted to depose her, forcing Cleopatra to rely on wit and strategy to reclaim power. She was not just a queen, she was a tactician and a diplomat, navigating danger at every turn. Cleopatra's famous meeting with Julius Caesar was a calculated political move. She sought Rome's support to secure her throne. Their alliance, both political and personal, shifted the balance of power in the Mediterranean. With Caesar, she found not only an ally, but someone whose ambition reflected her own. After Caesar's assassination, Cleopatra aligned with Mark Antony, forming an alliance that was both passionate and political. Together, they sought to protect Egypt and assert influence over Rome's fractured empire. Cleopatra's intelligence and charisma made her Antony's equal, commanding armies and making critical decisions. She was a queen who ruled her destiny. Yet even with her brilliance, Cleopatra faced threats she could not control. The Battle of Actium in 31 BC became a turning point. Outnumbered and betrayed, Antony's forces were defeated. Cleopatra's leadership was brilliant, but circumstances and fate constrained her. The queen who had mesmerized the world now faced the ultimate test: the survival of her people and the legacy of Egypt. In the shadow of defeat, Cleopatra made choices that would seal her fate. Alliances crumbled, trust faltered, and betrayal became her closest companion. The queen who had danced with the world's greatest men now stood on the edge of history. Every decision weighted with consequence. Cleopatra's story is not just about romance or beauty. It is about intelligence, resilience, and the sharp edge of power. Even the mightiest can be undone by circumstance, ambition, and betrayal. Her legacy, however, endured, proving that a queen's true power lies not in appearances, but in vision, courage, and strategy. In 1847, Thomas Edison was born in Milan, Ohio, a boy whose curiosity and determination would one day change the world. From a young age, he was fascinated by how things worked, always experimenting, always learning. He was homeschooled by his mother, who encouraged his curiosity, and he quickly discovered that failure was not a barrier, but a step toward discovery. Edison's early experiments were messy, chaotic, and sometimes dangerous, but they taught him lessons no classroom could provide. He tinkered with telegraphs, mechanical devices, and chemical reactions. Each failure refined his understanding and brought him closer to breakthroughs that would illuminate the world. His invention of the electric light was not instant. Thousands of attempts failed before he succeeded. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This persistence separated him from ordinary inventors and drove him toward greatness. But Edison was not just an inventor. He understood that invention alone was powerless without practical application. He built laboratories, developed infrastructure, and promoted his creations to the public. His work brought electricity into homes, factories, and streets, transforming daily life in ways people had never imagined. Edison's genius was prolific. He created the phonograph, improved the telegraph, developed motion picture technology, and invented countless other devices. Yet his relentless ambition sometimes brought conflict. Competitors, most famously Nikola Tesla, accused him of suppressing innovation to maintain dominance. Edison's pursuit of success often blurred the line between brilliance and ruthlessness. Despite these moral ambiguities, Edison's impact is undeniable. He reshaped modern society, lighting cities, recording voices, and capturing motion. But the cost of his brilliance was high. Personal sacrifices, strained relationships, and ethical compromises. Edison's life demonstrates that the pursuit of greatness can demand both triumph and turmoil. In his later years, Edison reflected on what he had built and the lives he had touched and challenged. He realized that innovation carries responsibility and that brilliance can cast shadows as well as light. His story reminds us that even the most extraordinary minds must navigate the balance between ambition, ethics, and human consequence. Thomas Edison's life teaches that creation demands persistence, vision, and sometimes sacrifice. His inventions illuminate our world, but his story also warns that power and obsession, if unchecked, can leave lasting shadows. In 1853, Vincent van Gogh was born in the Netherlands, a man whose sensitivity, passion, and inner struggles would one day produce art that spoke to the world in ways words could not. From a young age, Vincent felt deeply, his emotions intense, his thoughts often turbulent. He sought meaning and purpose in life, trying different paths as a preacher, teacher, and missionary, but nothing satisfied the burning need inside him. It was only through painting that Vincent found a voice for the chaos, the beauty, and the torment that consumed him. Color became his language, light and shadow his expression of emotion. Each brushstroke reflected his inner world, joy, despair, longing, and hope intertwined on canvas. Van Gogh's relationships were deeply important to him, especially with his brother Theo, who supported him financially and emotionally throughout his life. Yet even love could not calm the storms within. Mental illness haunted him, bringing moments of despair and instability. His struggles were visible to the world, most famously in the incident with his own ear, a sign of his inner suffering made manifest. Despite rejection, poverty, and misunderstanding, Vincent continued to paint tirelessly. He captured the world not as it appeared, but as he felt it. Starry nights filled with wonder, fields of wheat imbued with energy, sunflowers glowing with life. Every painting was an act of survival, a way to process pain and reach toward beauty. Vincent van Gogh died in 1890 at the age of 37, largely unrecognized in his time. Yet his legacy endures, proving that true genius is often unseen in life. His work shows us that creativity, passion, and resilience can transform suffering into something eternal. When we reflect on the lives of Albert Einstein, Cleopatra, Thomas Edison, and Vincent van Gogh, we see a common thread. Greatness is never simple. It is born from curiosity, courage, struggle, and sometimes suffering. Each faced challenges, loneliness, and the weight of expectation, yet each left a mark that transcends time. History's most famous figures were not merely icons or legends. They were human, flawed, passionate, and extraordinary. Their stories remind us that the human potential is limitless, shaped by imagination, intellect, courage, and empathy. Even as centuries pass, the lives of these extraordinary individuals continue to inspire us. They teach that curiosity can lead to discovery, ambition can create change, and passion can turn pain into lasting beauty. The world they shaped lives on, but so too does the possibility within each of us to leave a mark, to imagine, to create, and to endure.